Hello, everyone. This is Todd Milbrand, Senior Channel Partner Manager here at Sangoma. Today, we are going to be reviewing the Sangoma Portal. Now, we've got a couple of portals. This one is specifically for customers that are primarily using FreePBX and PBXact. Most of this is going to be a live demonstration, not slides. I do want to point out that within the GoToMeeting interface, you can ask questions. I'm actually going to ask my colleagues that are going to be helping with answering those questions that, if you've got a good one, instead of waiting till the end, if we're reviewing a particular subject, bring it up so I can show it right then and there instead of at the end. But on the agenda, we're going to do a quick company overview, meet some of the team that is here with me, give a quick plug for AstraCon, our yearly open source conference. And then we're going to review what I'd like to call the nooks and crannies of the portal, right? There's a lot of things I think people don't realize where they are, that they are even there and exist. So we're going to be doing that today. And then next week, same time, we're going to have the more advanced, if you will, review of mastering the portal, where we'll go over some additional items. But, as far as today, we'll look at managing your customer account, your addresses, where you can find a price list, adding users, managing your credit cards, where you can find deployments and some basic things as it relates to deployments, as well as doing product claims. And then any questions that maybe weren't asked while actually going through everything, we'll give a little time at the end for some Q&A and we'll wrap it up. This should only be 20 to 25 minutes if I timed this correctly. So just in case you don't know who we are, I'm assuming you do if you're in this webinar and want to learn more about our portal. But you may not know that we've been around for 40 plus years. We're a publicly traded company. You can find us both on the NASDAQ and the Toronto Stock Exchange. As far as FreePBX systems are concerned, we've got about 2 million plus in every country and territory worldwide. And, all of our products, from our phones to our gateways to both Asterisk and FreePBX, that stuff that's built in-house. We have an engineering pedigree. We see challenges and we like to go ahead and solve them internally with the knowledge we have here. So joining me on this call, we've got Michael White. He's the Vice President of Open Source. He's in charge of growing both Asterisk as well as FreePBX and PBXact. You may know him or remember him from when he owned E4 Technologies, a distributor of ours that we purchased 5 years ago now, maybe 6. Obviously, you have myself. I'm a Senior Channel Partner Manager. I've got experience with FreePBX and Asterisk going back to 2005. I've been here at Sangoma for about 10 years. Chris May, who unfortunately could not make the call, he's our open source solutions advocate. We even, refer to him as our pseudo PM for FreePBX and Asterisk. You may know him from reading through the forums as Penguin PBX, but he's kind of a multi-tool for us. Horrible analogy, but he can do a little bit of everything, and he's been a great addition to the team this past year. And of course, Tango, which some of you, when we actually get in the portal, may have noticed in the upper right-hand corner that Tango is your account manager. So there is, technically no person here named Tango. But when you reach out to Tango, because that's who your account manager is, it comes to, whether you're calling in or sending an email, it comes to our entire team, which goes beyond just Mike, myself, and Chris, so that we can make sure to take care of any of our customers' needs. We're always here to help. Quick plug for AstraCon. So this is going to be going on in Southern California, specifically Pasadena, next month on March 5th and 6th. Typically, we did this show in conjunction with IT Expo down in Fort Lauderdale, which just happened last week. You know, felt it was time to kind of shake things up and, you know, get some new energy going with the conference. So we are co-locating with Scale, the Southern California Linux Expo, which, you know, not only gives us a new locale, we're out on the West Coast, but it also brought down the cost of attending significantly too. I believe between the Astrocom Pass and the Scale Pass, it's somewhere between 70 to 90 bucks total. So it's really affordable. We've got great sessions planned over the course of those 2 days. And whether you're on the West Coast or, you know, just want to get into some warmer weather, like those of us up north here do, you know, look into joining us if you can. So with that, we're going to get into mastering the Sangoma Portal. Again, this is, you know, for folks that are primarily using FreePBX or PBXact. You know, we've also got some customers that are using our gateways primarily. You know, this is something they would go to. But typically, you know, your login for this portal is going to come from the very first time you set up a FreePBX and you choose to register that deployment. Registering that deployment actually ties it to you. So any licensing you purchase or anything around that can thus then be managed by you in this portal, as well as additional deployments you may need and users. And so after you do that registration and you fill everything out, that username, that password is what's going to get you in here. And I'm going to log into account I have set up for these demo purposes, and, you know, start up here in the upper right. If you ever want to know who your primary contact is or how you can get a hold of someone, you just look up here in the upper right. If you have Tango, don't worry. You've got a huge team of people ready to help. And if you're fortunate enough to have Ted Moss, you know, quick little side note on Ted Moss, he is a rock star. You know, not a you know, rock star in the sense like Axl Rose, but he is an extremely accomplished singer and musician. And if you're ever in northern Michigan, up near the tip, you know, reach out to him and see if he's playing any shows, because you'll be absolutely blown away. So like I said, we're going to be looking at exploring the nooks and crannies that I think a lot of people don't realize are there. And we're going to start by going under customers. You know, most people don't have customers underneath them, right? So they never think to look there for anything. And I'll start by going with list all. And, you know, you may have seen when we went over there, you can add a new customer. And I just want to point out, we may discuss that a little more next week, but that is a very specific use case. So if you happen to be a reseller partner of ours or somebody that is managing systems, specifically FreePBX systems or PBXact systems for customers that you also want them to be able to engage with our support or with us, creating them as a sub customer there is one way of doing that. But it's 99.999% of customers or accounts we have in the database here aren't doing that and don't need it. But you can come under here and do some things under your own account. So if you come over here and go to manage, a lot of people don't realize this is where you can start to make changes that are relevant to your account. So for example, if you need to change your business name, you can do that. change your primary contact. You can do that from here, the primary phone number. And you can also start to set up or choose where different emails from us are going to go. If you just put, as in this case, johnnyhockey79 at yahoo.com as the default, any email that's going to get sent on behalf of us for any reason is just going to go to johnnyhockey79. Now, if your organization has different groups or distribution lists where you may want to get emails, right? So a lot of times the default person may not be the person that needs to know that item shipped or that a payment is due or for some reason an order was rejected. So you can come in here and set up individual emails to come in here and be sent as appropriate. You know, invoice created, that's going to be, you know, the items getting ready to ship. The invoice is created, you know, maybe necessarily hasn't been picked up yet by FedEx or UPS, but you know, it's gone through our warehouse and is waiting for pickup. Product claims, we're going to talk about product claims in a little bit here, but if a specific person that's different than the default needs to know when a product claim is submitted, you know, you can go ahead and put that there. Payment reminders might be billing at, you know, johnsvoip.com or, you know, whatever I'm using here on this default account. So all of that can be managed right here. You can also go along all these different tabs and get to different things. Man, I have no idea where I got this address from, but here it is my primary address for my billing address. That's going to tie to my credit card by default. I'll show you that in a moment. And it's also going to be my default shipping address. And this is where I can come in and add new shipping addresses, or I can also delete addresses as well. Now, with both an address as well as a credit card, which will go along here over to cards. These are both things you can do in the checkout process. So you add some items to your cart. You know, I'm going to plug next week's mastering the Sangoma Portal. I think you know, I think we're calling it 201, like college level courses, and this is 101. You know, we'll do some stuff there with showing going through the portal store process and what you can do at the end there. And certainly right from the checkout screen, you can add a new address, you can add in a credit card. Well, a lot of times we get asked like, hey, how do I get rid of this address? You know, we haven't been in that building 10 years, or how do I get rid of this credit card? Well, you can go to customers, go to list all, go to manage what is probably going to be the only account under there, which is your account. And from here, you can add new cards as well as you can delete them if they're already in here. And if you're just going to be using the default billing address, no need for you to put everything in again. You can just come here and choose that to be the default. And yeah, I'm not gonna, I should have turned off autocomplete on my browser there. But you can come in here, put in your card numbers and all that and have it ready to go for when you're ready to make that purchase. And you can also do the same thing. You can manage users here as well. Just myself right here. You know, we do have folks where, you know, another personal organization will just go to portal.sangoma.com and create an account there. But, you know, if they're going to be a part of your organization, they're going to be managing things, they're going to be doing things related to your FreePBX, PBXact, or, you know, ordering things on your organization's behalf. We've got to tie those things together. So if you do have somebody do that, you know, we are always here to help. Give us a call. We'll get that moved for you, or have somebody here internally move them for you. If somebody's asking to be added, you can absolutely come here, create the user so that it's tied to your account, and you can choose to make them an admin. So that's going to allow them to manage some of the higher level stuff on your account, like the deployments and your credit cards. Or maybe you just want to give them portal access so they can log in, they can see deployment IDs, open a support ticket, etc. So I will actually go under users next and go to list all. It's just myself in this particular instance. But anyone I need to manage, let's say a user leaves the organization, I can log in, come here, I can deactivate them. I can deactivate their ability to be an admin, and I can deactivate any portal access as well. So, if a user leaves your organization, best security practice to make sure whoever the admin is logs in and gets those updated. And again, you forget where it is, you have questions beyond just that, give us a call. We're here to help. You can also go to help.sangoma.com. So maybe there's something we don't cover in today's webinar. Maybe there's something else you have questions about. The search box here is a huge, huge help. We use it internally a ton, right, to find answers to things, whether it's portal related, FreePBX related, setting up a phone with FreePBX. So let's do a search for that. Set up P325 with FreePBX. And I know AI doesn't necessarily have the best reputation currently at the moment. I guess a lot of that's going to be how it's implemented, where it's implemented. But as you see, this very quickly gives me what I need, tells me where to go, where I can get more information. Shows where it is actually pulling that information from so I can go to it. So, be sure, go to help.sangoma.com if you're more of a self-help person, but don't be afraid to call us or email us for additional help. We are always here to help you and serve you. And so one last thing under customers I want to go over. It's kind of a specific use case, but you can get pricing from here. You can certainly search through things, but this is more for purchasing departments or larger organizations that want to send this stuff out. Just know at the beginning of each month, we do update pricing when relevant. You can generate an Excel spreadsheet that you can then share with people that maybe don't have access to the portal. But for the most part, if you need pricing, that's going to be here in the store. That'll have all of your pricing, and we'll go over that next week. So next step down here on your left, which you might be noticing, this is how you navigate through the portal. It's going to be PBXs. And with PBXs, you can also get or you can also see any of your deployments here. So I happen to move some old deployments over here so that we can take a look at them. We're going to go into more detail on these next week, but I can come here to view them. If you're going to have multiple deployments, whether that's for your organization or maybe you're a reseller, best practice is to take the location name and name them based on actual location. So you can call this Buffalo, New York call center. So that way, if you start to have 20, 25, 30, you can very quickly look at your PBXs and you can see, yeah, okay, that's the deployment ID for my Buffalo, New York call center. we'll go more into it next week, but that allows you to very quickly come to it, see what licensing you have on that server. This is one of the ways you can renew individual licensing. And it also allows you to reset the hardware lock. So if you were to move a deployment from, let's say you've got it on a server and you're moving all of your infrastructure over to virtualized machines, that particular deployment is tied to the hardware that is tied to the hardware that is on that server that you originally put it on. And we allow you to move it. But before you can move it, you've got to come under here, go to licenses, and hit reset hardware lock. And you go to Sangoma help. They type in FreePBX deployment. It will, as one of the steps, let you know that you need to free up that hardware lock before you migrate. And if you do it more than 2 times, you will have to reach out to us and have us do it for you. But, it's not nothing too difficult for us to do for you. We need it done fairly quickly. Now, next week we'll be going through the store, showing you how to buy things out of the store. Whether it's specific to a deployment or hardware you might need. But we do give people the ability to claim product that they bought elsewhere, right? So if you were to go online and say purchase from VoIP Supply or maybe the telecom spot, we need to know that that product originated from them, right? Maybe it was in their warehouse, maybe they ordered it from us and we shipped it directly to you, but we need to know who the original seller is. But you, as the person actually using the phones, the software, the licensing, we need to know that too, especially if you're trying to reach out to us for support, right? If somebody were to try to reach out to us for support on something that we don't have registered in our system as being claimed by them or theirs, we're not going to be able to provide that. So you're actually able to come here. Any products that you buy from us are just automatically in here. Any products from elsewhere, you can come in, put the product serial number. So you can certainly grab that off of the item itself, the box itself, or usually the easiest thing to do is when VoIP Supply or Telecom Spot sends you the invoice while it's shipping, you just go in there, grab the serial numbers off of the invoice, and you can add a claim in here, which then allows you to manage these products. And as you'll see next week, in the case of phones, allows you to set up the redirect server that maybe, those phones are just ready to be powered up and plugged in to a network once they get on site. I'm going to pause here. We've been doing this for about 25 minutes. I'm going to ask Elvina or one of my other colleagues if any questions have come in that.
Hi, Mike here.
Hey, Mike.
No questions yet. Not a single one.
That's shocking and amazing at the same time.
It's a great sign that you're doing a wonderful job here at getting the point out.
Thanks. I'm gonna give it a moment here, just see if anything comes in. As I stated, I just kind of wanted to go in the nooks and crannies. I'm gonna pop into store, mainly not to go into anything specific at the moment because we're gonna review the store next week and the checkout process and doing quotes. But I do think a lot of people miss the search feature up here. And so, for example, if I were to do a search for SAML, which is a new module we released last quarter, and if you didn't see anything about it, that's probably because you're not listed as the on the default email, or you may have seen under that user piece that you do have to opt in to receiving product marketing from us. But instead of searching through all this or trying to remember where things are, I know for myself it is just so much easier. I just type it in. So SAML's a good example of that. Maybe endpoint manager, just put an EPM, since I know that's in the SKU for that particular product. Have you guys seen any questions come in? I'll take that as a no. So next week we will be doing a deeper dive into this. Also, should be only about 25 to 30 minutes. We're going to go through the store. We're going to go through a little more detail in managing your deployments. We're going to talk about the redirection of phones. And we're also going to review some of the more important reports we have in here for our customers. A lot of people don't realize what's in here and what you can do with it, and the importance, especially as it relates to keeping your systems or any purchased modules up to date, or managing support. We will go through those next week. And as always, if you have any questions, we're always here to help. Give us a shout. Main number is 231-282-9999. Choose the appropriate options for sales, and we'll be glad to help you out and answer any questions you guys may have. But thank you everyone for joining us, and looking forward to seeing all of you next week.